Hello everyone. Long time no see. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since I've actually done a video and I have my reasons. It's been pretty boring. It's been a pretty boring time in the market and I really haven't changed any of the things that I'm doing. I told you what I was going to do during this time until I think that time things were getting a little bit more interesting. Things are looking a little bit more interesting now, and there's been news, there's been things, so I'm going to catch you up on a couple of things. But let's just, kind of look into the market. Hello, Lewis without glasses here. Before we get to that part of the video, I would just like to ask you to please like the video and subscribe, because Lewis always forgets to say that. Lewis with glasses, of course. He always forgets to say that, but me, I'm here to interrupt and tell you guys to please do that. Thank you. It's looking pretty good today, right? We haven't seen this kind of movement in a while, right? Things are up, which is very surprising after this whole time of just kind of going down for quite some time. And there's been news, and even with some bad case scenarios, things are still looking pretty optimistic. Um, but overall, I haven't really changed anything. I haven't invested into anything that I haven't mentioned to you guys. I haven't done anything differently. I said during this time I was going to be dollar cost averaging or doing recurring buys on Ethereum, which is like the safest coin that you could go with. And I have not lost any money. I'm actually at a little bit of profit. And if you would have done the same thing that I mentioned in the other videos prior to during this moment of uncertainty, of kind of bad news going around, just kind of do some dollar cost averaging. In the end, you're going to be profiting at some point. So, and it'll pay off, right? And so that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been doing that during this whole time, these whole, 2 weeks probably, almost 3 weeks of uncertainty in the market, very quiet, not a lot of things going on. I've just been putting in money every week, a certain amount of money, and just waiting for things to get back up to where they were. I don't care if it goes down even more after I put in some money. I'm putting in a certain amount of money every week, and in the end, whatever the price goes up to, I'm making profit either way. Right? That's what dollar cost averaging does, and I explained that in my last video. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I've done. I haven't done anything differently. So if you were to follow what I was saying, and even if you didn't want to get into Ethereum, if you wanted to get into something that moves a little bit more, that is also a safe coin, not a very volatile coin like one of those small market cap coins. If you got into one of those safe coins that I mentioned before, Phantom, if you were to dollar cost average into that, or if you were just to buy at a low, right? Polkadot, Avalanche, all these coins, some which I may not have uh, mentioned, but by safe coins, I told y'all it was along this market cap, right? Anything that was over a billion, right? $1 billion. Actually, I'll keep, yeah, anything over $1 billion can be considered a pretty safe, let's say 5 billion. Anything over $5 billion in market cap could be considered a pretty safe uh, investment, right? So I say Ethereum is kind of like the safest you can go, right? Because even Bitcoin was being a little more volatile than Ethereum was. So that kind of gives you, that kind of point that Ethereum is safer to hold. Ethereum is safer to kind of just keep there and be buying occasionally, right? Every week or so. But there's Solana, Terra, which if you were to dollar cost average during these last 2 weeks, you'd be at a profit. A lot in profit actually, because they've moved even a lot more than Ethereum or Bitcoin have. But safe during these very uncertain times, you'd go Ethereum or even Bitcoin. You could go Bitcoin as well. They both kind of moved along the same lines, and right now Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum, but you and I know that in the long term, I see Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin by a lot. So what has gone? What has happened? What are the news? So the government decided that they were going to be doing tax hiking, which, if you don't know what that is, the amount that taxes are going to be increased basically every, I think it was 3 times during the next year. They were going to tax hike 3 times in the next year. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. Basically, taxes for property tax is going to be increased 3 times next year. So that's kind of concerning for a few people. You know, if you take profit, you're going to have to pay a little bit more taxes than you would have this year, which is capital gains tax right now at this very moment is about 37%. And if I'm not wrong, when you tax hike, you know, the capital gains, property tax, all that stuff will increase as well. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking forward to, right? And a lot of people don't like that. You want to kind of keep most of the money that you're making, right? And I'm sure you will. I don't think it will ever get to that point of like 50%. We take half, you get half of your profit. That would really stink. And if it does get to that point, obviously those are like the worst case scenarios, but I find that really hard to believe. So what are we looking at right now? What's going on? I follow this guy, Pentoshi. Super good. I think y'all should follow him on Twitter as well. I mean, he provides us with some of the best analyzing of the charts and just makes it pretty simple for us, right? He like kind of explains everything. So let's read this, right? Right now, Bears are on offense. They take price down to 46K, right? This is kind of like the whole way it's gone. But there was a lot of resting liquidity there, equals stop price from moving. So the price didn't move much. They begin to close some shorts, which is this moment, right? The price was kind of in the same area for quite some time. They begin to close shorts and buy some spot back. Bears become bull short term like everyone, like himself, right? And like a lot of people. They are willing to concede the ground in the middle because pick up inventory at the lows. The stuff in the middle is where the little fish wrecked. Right? A lot of people that were leverage trading got wrecked there. If truly bear, then they don't want to give up the contested area because it defines market structure. So if the contested territory if it goes below this point, right, we're talking at what, 56,000 to 54,000. So 56,000 to 54,000. If it goes any higher than that, you know, it'll kind of just explode most likely, and we'll be seeing an insane bump, right? We'll be seeing insane money just flowing into our portfolios, right? Bears wouldn't want that, of course, and that's why it's still very uncertain, right, what things would happen. If bullish, then the area becomes support, then buy flip. So this right here, 54,000 for the Bears. If they keep it that way, where they don't want it to go any higher than the contested territory, then this will be like the top. This would be like the resistance. They won't let it go any higher than that. But if it does go over that, then the contested territory, instead of being a resistance, which means it don't go any higher than that, that'll probably be the bottom. It won't go any lower than that. It'll be the support. So if you think of the market in that context, it helps a lot. So this is what we need to see. I fully have been seeing his calls for Bitcoin, Ethereum, for all the altcoins and whatnot, and he's almost, he's spot on all the time almost. I mean, it feels like this guy knows the future, right? So I really trust him with what he says, and if that's what he sees coming, then yeah. I am personally going to take profit in certain situations. So we see 53,149 being the start of the contested territory. Willing to concede this territory, we're looking at 50,000 to like 53,000. That's why if we see this break, the contested territory, if we see the break of the 53,000, then we could see a good explosion from here on out. But if we don't, if it kind of just keeps on bouncing up there and just falling back down, we could be looking at a bear, which is when you'd probably want to take profit, because that means the bears have kind of taken over the market, and that's how it's just going to look on for the rest of the time until we get back into a bull market. So that's kind of what you need to be looking at. And I see his tweets all the time, and you know, I kind of follow them because they're pretty accurate most of the time. Yeah. So like I was saying, take profits this time. If you held during this whole drop, I mean, I saw my portfolio go down nearly 50% since the dip. So it was pretty hard holding during this dip, but I didn't see it being a bear market just yet. As you can see, there's still a little bit of a bounce up, but there's still the two options. It can still either go very much up or it can go even lower. So we just kind of need to be looking at this chart. We just kind of need to be looking at what's going on, and finally we can decide if it's going to go up or not. So if you were to listen to any of the advice that I've given, coins that I think are going to be doing very well, I listed many safe coins. I listed many what a lot of people in the crypto community call degen coins, because they're just very volatile and very risky. But if you listened, then you would be on these coins and you would have bought during the dip, or you would have done recurring buys and dollar cost averaged, and you would be up. For example, Harmony made it as low as 16 cents during the dip, and now it's at 25 cents. Almost the same it was before the dip, right? Before this dip, it was around 25, 26. Now it made it all the way up to 35, but that was kind of its peak. Then it went down, even though the market hadn't gone down completely. And then they had the dip. But before the dip, it was actually it was at around the same price. Phantom, another one. It made it pretty high. It made it all the way to $3.47 at one point. Then after the dip, we saw it go as low as, so a little bit closer here, 125. If you would have bought it at 125, now it's at 190, could have made good profit. If you would have done recurring buys, you would have been at profit. Terra, I don't recall if I actually talked about this, but there's been a lot of conversation. If you've been really paying attention to crypto news, this was the coin of this whole little situation that we just had. This was kind of like the coin that kept everything up, right? If you would have invested in this coin, I mean, it's kind of just been going up like it's nothing. It held the dip, which is the craziest part. It held the dip. It went all the way from $70 that it was. It actually went as low as $30 during that very quick dip. $30. That means it went down 50%. It went down to $30 and immediately just went back up to 74. And then from there, it's just been going up. And now it's at 97. I bought down at 54, I believe. I didn't buy during the dip. I kind of had my money in coins, of course, held during the dip. Kind of painful. But I bought in later on after another dip that it had, right? So it went back up to 73, then it dipped all the way down to 54, and I actually bought the bottom right there. I bought it like nearly perfect. Actually, I think it went to like 52. But then at 54, I bought, and I've been having profit this whole time. Another one, Polkadot. If you would have dollar cost averaged, you probably wouldn't be at a profit, but you would be breaking even. I mean, you wouldn't be losing much money. And that's just kind of how it's looked so far. It's been a painful ride, of course. Nobody likes losing some money. But I'm almost back up to where I was before the dip. Still losing a little bit, right? Still losing a bit. But it's not as bad as it was. I lost 50% of my portfolio, nearly 50% of my portfolio during the dip. And now we're back up probably like 30%. So I'm good. I'm fine. And I'm most likely going to take even more profits. Like I said, I have always been taking profits. I've either been taking them into Ethereum, or I've been taking them into Tether, right, to have secure money. As you can see with Ethereum, my average buying price, and I've been buying every week, is 4,086. The price right now is 4,100. What profit have I made? Barely any. I've barely made any profit, but at least I haven't lost money. Even during these dips, I haven't lost money. And if it went even lower and I bought there that week, and now we're back up to 4,100, I'm at a decent profit. So, and it definitely had dropped to like 3,800. Unfortunately, the timing of my buys were around the time where it was at 4,000, then it would drop to 3,800, where it would have been a great buy. And then it goes back to 4,000, and I'm breaking even. I'm not losing any money. And with Tether, of course, you can't lose money. You're just putting the money in there. D-Race has gone up very nicely. These are like the very volatile coins. I've held it during the whole dip, right? I bought it at an average buying price of 327. It's at 467. It never really made it as, I didn't think it ever made it that low. See, in a month, 357 was its slowest. So yeah, it made it pretty much where I kind of break even. And then from there, it just kind of sustained itself down there. It went all the way up at one time to $8 and something. So I lost 50% of whatever I was holding there. I'm not losing any money. I'm still doing pretty well. So that's just kind of what you want to look at, right? We're staying safe. Don't freak out or anything. Just be patient. Be taking profit. This is the time to take profit, guys. If you're having any profit, take some of it, right? You don't have to take all of it. Take some of it. So then you can reinvest later on if it ever goes down even lower than we expected. But in the meantime, just kind of be looking out for this. If you look out for that, you'll be fine. You'll be doing good. And, you'll kind of be safe in this whole crypto market. Keep on reading up with the news. That's what I do. It's been a boring few weeks. That's why I haven't posted anything. It's not because, I was scared or, I just didn't really have anything to talk about. It's been a very boring 2 weeks. The market has stayed around the same price since the dip. Hasn't moved any higher, hasn't moved any lower until now. It's been looking a little bit more optimistic. Things are starting to get back up again, stocks. And if stocks are getting back up, every market is getting back up. Especially the tech. The tech stocks are what moves the crypto market pretty much, because the crypto market is literally based around tech. It's all in a blockchain. It's all in the computer. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. I don't really have much to say. That's what's going on. That's what's going to keep on going on. Keep on reading up with the news. Coins that I've mentioned, the coins that you just saw in my portfolio, check them out if you're interested in them. I've made pretty good profit since the dip, and I'm sure that there's still a lot more profit to take. So that's all I'm going to have for y'all today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate y'all always, liking the videos and the support that y'all give me. It's amazing. So thank you very much, and I'll see y'all in the next video.